how's it going? My name is James P. White. That is Chris Mooney. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, and that is my giggling friend, Chris Mooney. And we haven't seen each other in almost a week. I've been in Tabor, and
It's over a
he's.
week.
Yeah, I guess it has been over a week. I left. When did I leave? I left last Thursday.
And we didn't hang out on Wednesday. So last time I saw you was the podcast.
Was the podcast on Tuesday. So yeah,
I got to tell you, I miss you, buddy. It's like I had like in the intervening 10 days or whatever it was, I haven't really had my conversation. I haven't like been able to fill the conversation. Well, I don't get Andrew
your
and
conversation quota.
Yeah, quotas. Yeah, that's a good. It's kind of like
because your wife doesn't let you talk as much.
No,
and
actually,
she really doesn't care.
She's probably happier that you're back than me because we've had some like conversation. We had a conversation the other day about women and the genetic role of mother and homemaker versus like the last 50 years of like Gloria Steinem and women's lib and like women's responsibilities and all that kind of like just really wide ranging and deeper shit, more so than the typical like what are we having for dinner and love you honey, you want to go see the show,
hopefully
what should we
you
get
gave
for
her a
groceries?
Mother's Day present after that conversation.
Yeah, she got a present, but no, I've missed the chats and I'm glad you're back, buddy. Looking good. What's up with the salad? What do you got now, the Archie?
I got them to trim it down, so they kind of cut the sides, cut the back down.
He got the Archie.
I guess it kind of is. No, it's more the Jughead. Like remember, wasn't Jughead the one that had the spike?
He had the beanie, didn't he? Jughead always wore the.
Oh
beanie.
Yes, he had the beanie. Oh yeah, that's right. Archie had the little
the red hair with the white sidewalls. We just gotta, what you gotta do is you gotta get a clippers and just do like the number sign on either side.
Yeah, no,
I'm just crushing the Archie.
I'm good because on my way home to Tabor, I was stuck in Calgary for 2 hours, and on the Red Arrow, and right next to it was a Mr. Barber, and I'm like, hey, let's go get my hair cut because my hair was insane.
It grows like a motherfucker.
And my mom judged this haircut. Could you imagine if she saw my salad before this?
Oh yeah, no,
yeah, she would have kicked me out of her own house.
So what about the coloring? Did you add color, or you just
no? It's just it just cut the ends, like just trimmed it down. Didn't change the color at all.
Still got some red going there.
Yeah.
But there's like there's a darker base that's your natural color, underneath that,
or dark and with the touch of gray.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you didn't wear a hat or anything because it would have been anticlimactic if you peeled off a toque or something. Because really, it's not much different except it's a lot shorter and it's way more archy.
Dude, they almost filled it like the equivalent of a grocery bag with what they took off my head.
They knitted a couple sweaters for some homeless midgets.
Yeah, they made sweaters for local dogs from the pound.
Well, you look great. You look great though. Love the Archie and missed you. And why don't you tell us about your trip home? I guess you got to see Mom on Mother's Day. Wasn't there a birthday too?
Yes, it was my little sister Heather. It was her 50th birthday on Tuesday.
Happy birthday, Heather!
And then Mother's Day with, of course, my mom. First time I spent Mother's Day with my mom in over 25 years.
Holy cow!
Like since I joined the basketball team, I've never made it back during this time of the year. And it was good. We went out for dinner. I got to watch a lot of TV and movies with my mom. She always watches new stuff. She keeps a note, and then she goes, "By the way, you have to watch this." And we sit and binge watch TV. The Madison with Michelle Pfeiffer is actually a pretty good show. It's kind of chick flicky, but it's not too bad. Watched a lot of stuff like that.
I found it dark and underwhelming, but go on.
Yeah, but but like how it graduated, and then at the end, I it leads to another season. I
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
for
liked
sure.
it. There was a bunch of other stuff we watched, some really sad stuff. Like there was a movie called Soul on Fire about a boy that was playing with matches and gasoline in the garage and blew himself up, and he was burnt over 90% of his body. And it showed how he, with no fingers, built his life back, got into construction, got into public speaking, all that kind of stuff. It was a really good show. William H. Macy was in it. Um, and he was like a sports announcer that the kid was a huge fan of the team,
Oh yeah.
and so he was like, visiting him all the time. It was just a well done movie. There was a bunch of other stuff, but the trip, I like, the worst part of my visit home is the Red Arrow. Like, it's almost 8 hours on the bus.
Oh, I
And
want to hear about that, but let's just wrap up your trip. So, overall, you had a good time. You got to spend time with family. You got to see nieces and nephews and all that,
oh yes.
and put some good time in with mom.
Yeah, like that was my main thing.
Yeah,
Um, I don't get to see her that much, and to be honest, all my siblings, they all have their own families.
yeah.
They don't see her as much as she'd like. She spends a lot of time alone with her dogs. So I always like, it's not that I'm feeling sorry for my mom, but it's just, I need to spend time with my mom, make some memories. We sit and we talk, and we watch shows,
Yeah, and she needs to spend time with you too, so it's a nice little catch up, right?
and I am the pride of the White family. And
Really?
I'm the only one that doesn't live in Tabourine.
You're like you're. It just sounds weird. A guy goes, "Well, I'm kind of the pride of
Uh,
like,
we
like
we back
I'm the."
back on the radio station, when we would talk about all the stupid things I do, like when I was stripping and stuff like that, knocking myself out, at football games. I am the pride of the White family. You know,
You're.
I,
Oh,
I do the Den of Sadness videos, which are videos of me cleaning my apartment in my underwear. I am the pride of the White
those
family.
are pretty funny.
Yes.
If I said that I was the pride of the podcast, you'd probably crawl so far up my ass I'd puke you out.
Like, you're definitely not the pride of the Mooney family, because
Oh,
there's so many of them much better than you.
mhm.
Um,
No argument here.
even the family dog.
I
Um,
I I wouldn't presume to have the balls to give myself that moniker, unlike some people.
I d- I'm doing it out of pure what's it called, sarcasm. Um,
So,
by the,
go ahead.
by the way, I was just looking. We're episode 46.
We are so.
We're six away from our 52nd episode, and we are still circling the toilet bowl of loathing and hatred. And no person I would rather loathe and hate as much as I do you. Um,
The feeling's mutual. I really missed it. I missed doing this, man. Well, it didn't help that friend of the podcast, Johnny, was in Spain. Like pretty much, you guys left the same day, and you've been gone the exact amount of time.
oh
So
wow.
we didn't have any catch up at Julian's or anything like that. Which, by the way, I'd like to do tomorrow. We didn't have any chats or drunken ramblings or any back and forth. So um, we did have well, I guess I'll talk briefly about my intervening 10 days, about which there's very little to report. That's the other thing. Kieran left, I think, the same day or the day before you guys did. So
Yeah,
and
because
he's in Europe.
he came to see you during our last podcast,
Yeah,
because
that's
he was
right. He
leaving
left
in
the
a
same
couple of
day.
days.
Yeah, but he's in Europe now and sent me some nice pictures. They were in France and now they're in Amsterdam. And he's gone another 2 weeks, and he sent me a pic. He goes, I don't want to go home, and I'm like, don't ruin your trip by thinking like that. By the time you get home, you'll be happy you're home.
Yeah, that's the thing when you go on trips like that. Like when I went to Jamaica back when I was with the basketball team. No, when I was with the radio station, never went to Jamaica with the basketball team. But you're there for a week, and by the end, you're like, no, I'm good to go home.
Yeah, that's the perfect trip. Like it should be like that.
Like
And
like
and
we
and
were
I
a
that
week, and it was just yeah. By the end,
well,
you're like, yeah, no, I'm good.
yeah, and that's the thing too is like I'm a parent, and obviously I love my kids, and to hear your son say that, it's kind of like, oh man, I hope that he's happy. Like he has a lot of responsibilities when he comes home, or like always. And I go like, well, gosh, I hope he's happy, but it's like you got to hit the brakes and follow the advice you gave him. Don't get too philosophical about it. I'm sure by the time he gets home, his 20-year-old ass will be happy that he is. So
Oh, once he gets back and he's hanging out with his buddies and he's,
yeah,
you know, seeing the honeys that he's wooing at
yeah.
school, and then he has to see you. Um,
That make anyone want to stay away. Let's stop this topic. No, and we had kind of an unofficial opening of our deck on the Friday. So like,
oh yeah, because the weather's been good.
well, up until today, but
Yeah.
yeah, today makes you wonder why you did it. But we had a bunch of people over and watched. We didn't really. Oh no, yeah, no, we just hung out, listened to music. A lot of Deeks and Paul and Maureen came, and my sister and friend of the podcast, Diener. So that was a kind of a nice night too. Friend of the podcast, Mike Bayrak. Um, but yeah, missed the Jimmy talks.
Yeah, it's kind of different when you're kind of used to at least spitballing ideas and talking to each other. Yes, we ride each other a little hard, but you kind of miss that when you don't.
Yep.
You go like when you say something stupid and no one's there to go to catch you on it. You
So
go and
someone,
and, and,
someone,
and, and you, and you're sitting there going like
how come no one's kicking my
how
ass?
how come no one ever speaking
Hang
of
on, no,
that,
wait a minute. You need someone to remind you that you're not the pride of everything.
what are you drinking?
I got the Duist. I cannot established 1846. They
So
they haven't kept making it for nothing. And
you
then
know
I'm gonna soliloquize a little bit because Dewar's is like I can get 1.75 and it's out liters of this at Superstore liquor store, regular price $48, and it tastes better than Johnny Walker Red. And I don't know, everybody has their own palate, so this is just me talking.
but didn't
But
you have Johnny Walker Red last week?
I did, and I like it. I still have a lot of it, but why did I buy a Dewar's? Because I like Dewar's better. Like I'm not a big Scotch guy, but I've really taken to this. The Johnny Walker Red is like $79, I think, or something. Actually, the black Johnny Walker Black was on sale for $78, and the red was on sale, like the 1.14 liter for 41, which is only $7 cheaper than than with half a liter more of Duas.
So next time you're there, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to look and see how much this stuff is.
Oh, Appleton Estate.
Jamaican rum.
Oh, it's rum, is it?
Yeah, because I was at my mom's house and she's still in the back fridge, still has some of my dad's old booze, and
Right.
she won't let us take it. And she'll never drink it in a billion years. But he had the Appleton Estate, and the last time I had that was when I was in Jamaica, and I'm like, so I ordered some today, and I'm like, I'm liking it.
Is it distilled in Jamaica?
What's that?
Is it distilled in Jamaica?
It's distilled in Jamaica.
Uh,
Jamaica man.
so it's actually Jamaican, and it has nothing to do with apples themselves.
No, Appleton's is the name of the company.
Yeah, because I just saw the label
It's
and I thought it
yeah.
was rye, but that's
No,
that's a
it's brewed in Nassau Valley, or not brewed, distilled.
So by some colonial,
Established in 1749 by the pirates, by
nice.
the pirates of the Caribbean,
Well, I might try some if we're ever
like like
somewhere.
uh, like Johnny Depp.
So, and it's just good sipping rum, eh?
Yeah, it's good. I like it, and it's in like you can like I used to drink it with like a mix. Like I used to mix it with Coke or whatever.
Yeah,
But
but
good
more
rum
like
and
most
Coke is
people.
good.
Yeah,
But you know, it's as you get older and you're like, I don't need all that pop. I don't need all that sugar to go with my booze. Like
yeah.
because the problem when you're mixing good booze with a mix, and tell me if I'm wrong, is you get that sugar crash. You get the sugar high and then the sugar crash. Because if you're drinking all that pop, if you're drinking Coke, you have all the caffeine, and then you have the sugar crash. But this is you're just sipping a little bit of whiskey or rum, whatever, and you don't get that the mix. It's the mix that knocks you on, gives you a
Well,
hangover
especially
from
if you got
booze.
sugar in it. Like
Yeah,
I've never really had done that in my life because I'm diabetic. But I don't really like mixing because it almost makes the booze taste worse.
no, it waters down the booze. Like if
Like
you're
if
gonna
I
add
want to
anything, like
if
ice.
if I want a Diet Coke, I'll have a Diet Coke, and if I want a whiskey, I'll have a whiskey.
Yeah. But
Like
back
why?
in the day, we used to when we were kids. Like at least I used to.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I did.
Everything was mixed.
I had a a Ryan diet period, and I had a gin and diet tonic period, and then I drank too much of it one night and decided I was done with that. So yeah, no, that's the thing.
On my birthday back in, I want to say it was about 2014. I was at I was working with Locke, and we were at the Tilted Kilt. It's no longer a
Like,
thing.
is that in Sherwood Park or the one at West Head?
The one at West Ed, and we
Yeah,
were there, and it was on my birthday, and we were doing Velcro football, but we had like a pretty hefty tab, and I was drinking uh rum, like cherry Coke and rum,
hmm.
and I was ordering doubles, and then they made them triples without telling me,
Fuck.
and
You'd have been a mess.
oh, dude, I was beyond a mess. But then we did one round of Velcro football. In the second round, some guy kind of clotheslined me with the football as I'm running down the as I'm running between them, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm drunk. Let's do this." So I kind of flipped a U-turn, and I ran around the previous table, and I came at him again. This time, instead of him clotheslining me, I jumped and caught him with my arm in the chest. He's sitting on a bar stool, knocked him off his bar stool.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
and
Oh my God.
but I was drunk, and then but I was acting drunker than normal, and then Locke thought it was a good idea to give me a chocolate cake, which actually the cake was the shape of a large black cock, as you do for somebody's 45th
Sure.
birthday.
That's typical.
Yeah,
No, there's nothing
40th
weird
birthday,
there.
whatever. And so and then about half an hour later, Locke I disappeared, and Locke comes into the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom stall. There's puke everywhere, and it's chocolate cake. Um,
Oh my God.
oh, it was. Some of it got in the toilet, but yeah, it
Oh,
was.
I don't even
And
don't even.
that was the last time I had um, rum outside of Jamaica.
Oh, what kind of rum was it?
I have no idea whatever they had at the Tilted Kilt at the time. So
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
probably Bacardi's or whatever.
yeah,
Dark, but I was a dark rum guy, and I still am.
yeah. I can't imagine anyone drinking white rum, but whatever.
But again, people do that when mixing.
Yeah.
But yes, let's quit talking about booze and puking all over the walls and stuff like that. Let's get into something different. Um,
You were
let's.
talking about you were. I wanted to hear. We were almost talking about your bus ride home, and you had something to say about that. I think.
Yeah. Like, see, the thing is the bus there and back is really long. Like between here, like when I got here yesterday, I got here at 4 o'clock. I left Calgary at noon. and I got here at
Whoa.
like about 4:30. So
That's like,
it's
yeah, that's 4.5 hours on a trip
yeah,
that usually that, like, honestly, from my house, that I would be going slow if it took me 2.5 hours. Or no, maybe 2.5 hours is about right.
but
Yeah.
then but then it stops in Red Deer, and
Yeah, oh
it
my
does,
god.
and then so
That's longer than a
yesterday
flight to Vegas.
yesterday I left Lethbridge at 8 o'clock in the morning. Got to Calgary at 11. Left Calgary at noon. Got here at 4:30.
Oh, kill me now.
And what drives me insane, and you were talking before, and we kind of touched it on the last episode about bus etiquette, plane etiquette, whatever.
Yep.
One, if you're taking your luggage to give it to the bus driver to put it underneath the
Yeah.
bus, don't push past old people. Let them do their thing. Like, don't knock people out of the way when they're doing it. You're not more important than somebody else. You know, am I wrong? Like,
No.
if somebody's in front of you giving your luggage to the bus driver, don't push them out of the way. Don't, you're not more important than somebody else.
Are your
I don't
seats
care who you are.
are your seats pre-selected, or is it whoever gets on the bus first gets his
Uh,
pick?
see, the thing is the bus. It's. I'm getting into that, but yes, you get your seat when you buy your ticket, and
Okay, so it doesn't matter
certain
when you
seats.
get on, that
No,
seat is yours.
yeah, certain seats you pay more money for. I'm going to touch on that in a second
Okay, so
because
hang on.
yeah.
The
So you
guy
don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you get on the bus. You're still in the same seat.
so the guy that's or the person that is elbowing or getting in the way of, like, the older folks who are trying to get their bag and actually is completely stiffing himself because, like, you're in such a hurry to give the guy your bag, but then that's gonna be, like, the last bag that he yanks out when you need it, right? Because, like, first in, last out, right? Because
Yeah.
they just stuff
Usually
them
I'm
in.
near the front, so my bags is usually the last. Like I
Yeah,
was
like, I'd
just
sit
near the
back,
front.
finish my coffee, wait for all the dummies to do that. I already know that I'm sitting in 12B or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
and then just get on when I have to, and then when I get off, my bag's right there. And I can
But
wave goodbye to all you fucks that I've been on the bus with for, like, 8 hours.
but like you don't need to push people out of the way. Like the bus
Mhm.
isn't going to leave without you. The bus driver is the one putting it on the bus.
Yep.
So calm your tits. Like
Yeah. 100%. Also, it's stupid. There's no logical reason for someone to do that, period.
yeah. And another thing that's with that is so when you're on the bus, like with Red Arrow buses, so between here and Calgary, there's on most of them, you have two rows of seats on one side of the bus and one row of seat on the other.
Wait
So
a minute.
so
What? Like, you have, like, a pair of
so you have
seats.
two rows of seats. You know how you have a row of seats where it goes from the front of the back, and there's two seats that goes from the front all the way to the back of the
From
bus.
the windshield to the back door on the right side, say, there's a pair of seats all the way down.
It's on the left side all the way down.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then on the opposite side, there is a single seat that goes all the way down. But
Is it
you
wider?
pay yes, yeah, not a lot wider, but you get to sit by yourself, you don't have to sit by other people. But the single
Oh, wow.
seats you pay more for. So
Yeah.
you pay about 10% more. So if your ticket is $80, you're paying another $8 for this single seat.
Who would
Eh,
not do that?
Um I do it all the time when I can, like, because
Yeah, like,
they're usually sold first,
you're gonna
and
be
like,
on that damn bus that long, like, holy shit.
but so on the way here on that single seat, there was a guy that was sitting in a double seat next to somebody else, but there was no one sitting in the single seat, and he moved over. I was pissed because I paid extra for my seat, and he's sitting in one for free because nobody was sitting in it.
Oh,
Would
I
that
don't
piss
okay.
you off too?
No. Hang on a minute. Would you do that next time?
Would I what? Would I sit in a
Like
single seat?
not buy the VIP and just sit on the end and wait for the bus to leave and then yank the
No.
first one? You wouldn't do
No.
that?
No, I just you're paying extra for it. You're yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay, I'm just okay, but
that's dishonest. I would not do that.
okay, but if I was sitting next to that guy and I'm sitting there going, I got to sit next to this prick for like 8 hours or 4 hours or however long, maybe I'm getting off in Edmonton, whatever, Red Deer. But now that guy has his own seat, and the person that he would have been like butt cheek to butt cheek with has their own seat too. So that's a win-win for those two people. And you're only pissed. Let me just explain. You're only
No, I
pissed
know. I'm
because
only
you
pissed because
paid
I
extra
paid
for
extra for
something
it.
that somebody got for free.
Uh,
But
yes.
but I think that first of all, if I was getting on that bus, I would definitely pay for the VIP seat. It doesn't sound like it's a lot more money.
No, it's
Um,
10%.
yeah, so I would pay for that anyway. But if the bus started going and I was paired up with somebody sitting on the two people seat or whatever, I would definitely slide over because who else is going to sit there? Big fucking deal.
Yeah,
Like it.
the only thing in the one in one case, and this guy actually did it smartly, which I have to give it to him. He waited till Red Deer because
Oh yeah, because somebody might get
in
on in
Red
Red
Deer
Deer who's
someone would
got
have
that.
had it in Red Deer.
Yeah.
So at least he had that kind of consideration to him. But
And honestly, if I was sitting there, even if I was sitting next to you, and we were going and the bus starts moving and then someone goes and grabs that seat, I'd be pissed that I didn't do it.
yeah,
I
okay.
mean, like,
So it's kind of a different way. I was kind of pissed that I paid for it and he got to sit in it for free.
yeah.
But
Like, having said that, I mean, I would never, ever elect voluntarily or pay less so that I could sit next to a stranger or somebody else for any amount of time. So
but
any, I would pay in advance for the free seat every day of the week. But
would you do that in a plane and jump like they don't
that's a
let you
good
on a plane
question.
normally.
That's a good question. I have done that, but I have never done it without asking the stewardess,
It's a flight attendant.
whatever the flight attendress,
It's attendant. It's unisexual.
whatever,
Whatever.
whatever. Like, look at
But
correcting my speech. Fuck you too.
I will.
I would, I
I
would.
majored in English for one period.
So did I. Listen, I have done that on a plane, but I have always asked. In fact, I have asked um, before. Like, and you know what? It's all about how you approach them, and you ask nicely, and you go, listen, I don't want to be a bother. I hope you don't mind, but if that happens, do you mind if I, and I'm like, I'll wait until you give me the okay, and they're like, okay, sure, sir. Like, all good. I don't do that with um I don't do that with, like, on WestJet, like the first 3 rows, they're like super.
Executive class.
Yeah, that used to be a deal where it only cost you an extra 50 odd bucks or whatever, but now it's a whole separate thing and they charge you an extra couple hundred, and I do not do that on a WestJet flight when any first class seats open or whatever, because somebody has in fact paid a hell of a lot more than I did, and where do I get off, right? And
Yeah.
and also, not to mention the fact that I'm sure that the flight attendrixes um, have been given their marching orders to ensure that they don't take away the value of those seats by letting any dummy sit there.
It's attendrix. Like, what are we, the Matrix? All of a sudden. Um. Okay, now that we're done with that,
That's
and
my opinion. I don't know.
if
Would
you
you do that on an
no, I
airplane?
wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I
You obviously you wouldn't do that for anything. You would not.
I would if I went, hey, how much would it cost me to sit there?
Yeah.
Can I pay you to sit there? Um, if it was free, I would do that.
You
I
know who
wouldn't
you
do it for free.
you know who you remind me of? I hope this is a funny story. It is to me. My ex-wife and her mother and father and I were going to Scotland. And we were on one of those Airbus, like, the seating was so shit. Like the Airbus 300 or whatever it was, the leg room is fucked. Like you can barely like bend your legs. Like, and they had the row of 5 in the middle and then the 3 on the other side or what on either side. So we learned the hard way on the way there that how fucked it is, like in terms of leg room and all that stuff. So I'm like, shit, our pre-booked tickets were in the or no, I know what it was. My ex-wife and I paid in advance on the flight home to sit 3 near the front of the plane, like and I said, "Hey, you take the window, I'll take the aisle, and maybe if nobody takes like nobody wants the middle. So if it's not a full plane and no one takes the middle, we can get your parents to move up." And because they weren't going to pay, so there was one that opened. So my ex-wife's mom went up and sat there, and then her dad was sitting in the 5, the 5 seat in the middle thing. There was a lady sitting on the end, and my ex-wife's dad was sitting right beside that lady when his wife was sitting right beside him. And she got up to move up. So now, at the very least, the seat beside him is open so that he's not sitting 5 row in a 5 row thing just with the one lady on the end and him. Like, he had 4 other options. So I keep looking back, wondering if he's going to move up. I'm like, hey, Paul, come here. You can sit here in the middle. It's
So
all
he was
good.
just moving from seat to
It's
seat
it's
along
all
the
good,
aisle.
buddy. Like all you got to do is move up. Like you're fine. And I keep looking back. He's like, nope, this is the seat I paid for. I'm not moving. Like he's an accountant. He's a very rules guy, eh?
Yeah.
So then I look back and I always sit on the in the aisle, right? And I keep looking back and I can't understand how at the very least the fucking guy doesn't move one seat over just so that he's not elbow to elbow to this lady. like like if I were her, so I come back and I'm like, Paul, why don't you at least move over one? Because like
And he goes,
like
"Well,
that
this is my
your
seat."
wife was sitting in that seat. You can take it now, and you're not crowding this lady beside you. And he's like, "This is my seat. This is what I paid for. This is where I'm staying." And she's like, "You can move if you like, sir." Like this is the lady he's elbowing. Like, I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? And like he just
Uh,
would not do it. And I'm not criticizing. I love the guy. I have no bad things to say about him. But you going, I would never do that no matter what. That's very rigid, and the rules are the
oh yeah,
rules.
that's.
Like,
But s-
when I become king, I'm definitely gonna consider you a loyalist.
so when you become king, I'm moving planets. Um, can I live on the moon? There's no air there.
The rules
Give
are
it a.
the rules.
I'll
The
give it a
rules are the
whirl.
rules.
Um, that kind of reminds me of a plane trip, like when we did on Jamaica. There was this one guy. I don't think he shaved the not shaved, showered the entire time he was in Jamaica.
Oh no.
So we were on the flight back to Calgary from Jamaica, and the flight attendants, poor people. I feel so badly for them. They were giving masks. That was before COVID, where you had to wear a mask so that they didn't have to breathe this guy. And they were moving people like from all around him, like a one seat perimeter around the guy. Okay, we'll move you to first class. We're gonna move you to this. We're gonna move you here. We're gonna put you here. Like they were doing everything they could for these poor people. Like I was 3 rows behind him.
And you can smell them.
I have a bad BO issue. Sometimes when I say like when the sun hits this body, it's you know skunks run. And this guy, like I was 3 or 4 rows behind the guy. I could smell him.
Oh.
And
And so this is before COVID. So wearing a mask would be considered like really weird and strange. Like the only time I
yeah,
ever saw people wear masks before COVID would be like the odd Asian person downtown or something, right?
yeah,
And and now like yeah, so that would have been like if you're sitting there on a plane and
that
you're
that
ripe and everybody around you is wearing a mask, but nobody like
except for you. Um,
yeah, nobody like 5 6 rows back is wearing a mask. Like holy shit, maybe put two and two together there, buddy.
So
And
like entering the plane, one of the supervisors or whatever said, you know, do you have deodorant or something you can put on? You're kind of a little ripe. He goes, no, I'm paying to be on this plane. I'm going on this plane the way I am.
he's just indignant about it, eh?
He
Oh,
like he's
that
one of
dude,
those
that
he's
pissed
one of
that's
those people. If you don't like it, you don't have to smell it. Like
I would say something like, "Really, pal? Like, you fucking reek, and you're gonna submit all of these poor people like, no one's gonna kick me off the plane for saying that to that fucking asshole."
no. But it
Um,
was yeah, but then I look back and that was, one that was 2 months before the lockdown in March of
yeah,
that year. So
2020.
that would 2020. But yes, so now on a
I
happy
hang on though, hang on,
okay.
just 1 minute, because I'm just gonna piggyback on, and I don't know why we're tilting the same way as we did, like, to a conversation we had last week about the airplane thing, but,
Okay.
um,
Because we went
yeah,
from bus to airplane.
yeah, like, now
And
yeah,
last time we went airplane to
airplane to
bus.
bus, but I remember I said you used to get all dressed up and it was a big deal to go on an airplane and all that shit. Well, like, yeah, it was, but the way that standards have fallen, like I talked about, like fucking people lying on the floor and in the gates, like just like animals. But your story reminded me, and I can't remember if I talked about it last week or not. But I was on a WestJet flight from Mexico, and there was a dude sitting, in his chair with no shirt on, so just shorts and flip flops. And I'm like, don't you respect yourself? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I think that a lady, one of
Like, are you
the
talking in the airport?
on the airplane.
Oh, on the airplane.
He's on the airplane and he's wearing shorts, flip flops, and nothing else. And one of the flight attendresses went over and asked him actually, like, if I don't know, like maybe 15 minutes in, if he could put a shirt on or something. And he didn't have a shirt in his carry on, but he had a jacket, so he put his jacket on. And I felt like clapping, like, but I just thought, at least, you know what, the guy's taking instruction and not being a fucking pig on the airplane. So I'll leave it at that. Mission accomplished.
Attendresses? Really?
Well, I don't know what to say now. Last time I said
It's
something, you you
no,
you
it's
you
flight
attacked me. I don't know.
attendants.
You're the
You s
word
you
police. Like, we don't have
no,
free
it's
speech
flight
anymore.
attendants.
I'm
You
confused.
said
Like, I said stewardesses.
yeah, it's flight attendants. Flight
If
attendants
it's a
is
girl, it's a stewardess. If it's a dude, it's a steward.
or
With
you could
like
just say flight attendant and it's mutually exclusive for
it's
everybody.
you. I think people understand what I'm saying when I say steward or stewardess. But now I'm confused. Now it's a flight attendrix or flight attend. Like, whatever, man. Like, you're gonna be the speech police, I guess, today. Kind of horseshit, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I
now
thought
that
this was
we're
gonna be a nice, warm, happy homecoming. Good to see you, buddy. And
what
now you're attacking. You're
yeah,
attacking
yeah,
my speech.
we've been away from each other long enough that you think that we get together, there's booze involved, and it's gonna be light and happy. Yeah, okay. Good luck. Uh,
I missed you.
so so
Like,
let me ask you a question. So now let's change subjects from flight attendrixes and
yeah,
whatever. Let's get into something that happened this past week and your thoughts. Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, the Super Channel, TBS.
owner of the
He
Atlanta Braves.
yes, he passed away at the age of 87. Thoughts?
Well, a life well lived. Beyond that, I
He
mean,
was a
I'm not.
very influential man when it came to the media industry. You know,
Yeah,
he was one of the first ones to talk like just constant news. When CNN was the
Yeah, it was the
first
first like
like
24-hour news
24-hour
station.
news station,
Yeah,
which is a big deal. Even
great
though
idea.
people do, say that it's, one-sided news, whatever. That's not the point. He came up with Super Channel, which was one of the first pay channels that you could buy, you can rent movies,
Yeah,
and yeah, like huge, like huge man. There's probably not too many people like innovators like that at that time that he started that stuff. I could be wrong, but it is a bit. It is a loss to just people who think outside the box like he did. Like if more people thought outside the box and not just by watching porn. Um, okay, that was a joke.
Oh, or was
Yes,
it just like
you're supposed to laugh. Um,
a personal
okay,
like?
do I need to program a laugh track in my computer so that when I say a
No,
joke,
just be
hit the cues?
funnier. Just be funnier.
Wow. Okay, so now I have to be funnier, and I'm the only one in this group that has done stand up comedy at a comedy festival before. But who
Or
knew?
stripped or played professional basketball,
Or
they're
or been funny
or been the
in
pride of anything.
yeah, the pride of Edmonton radio. Uh,
Pride of your family.
the only midget male exotic dancer in Western Canada. You
Yeah,
know,
there you go. Highly accomplished, and you sound like Ted Turner all of a sudden.
and that is
Pi
the
a
rest of the
fucking
story.
a true pioneer. No, listen, I don't know very much about the man. I know
No,
that he owned the Braves, and I know that when he fired a manager and he didn't have a replacement, actually he managed the Braves for a game and a half. I think he got kicked out of one or whatever, before he hired his replacement. So a character for sure. One thing I'll say though is he's always been a lot left of center politically, despite the fact that he's a billionaire. And but but CNN was a lot more objective when he owned it than it was after he owned it. And I don't know if that was just a societal shift, but it's nice. Maybe I would hate to think that he's the last of a dying breed of somebody who, despite his political leanings, put society first and made sure that everybody had the right to speak freely and express their opinions without retribution or punishment or freely.
yeah.
So
The thing is though is he changed like again 24-hour news whether or not you agree with the news that they broadcasted. He was the first one to do it. Now a
yeah,
lot of them do it. Weather Channel was after that, and then you've got your Fox News, you've got all these other different ones that do it, and he was the innovator. He's the one who started it.
we got something on in like baked into our little talking pieces or whatever that really relates to this that I wouldn't mind jumping over to right now.
Oh, here
And
we
that's
go.
no, like the concept or the idea of cultural decline or cultural erosion. I came across an item yesterday or the day before that talked about how, like, I don't want to say every generation. I think we tend to think of things more in terms of decades, but like every decade had some sort of delineating characteristic where you go, oh yeah, that was from the 90s, or oh, that was from the 80s. Like, you talk about the 80s or the 70s, you talk about um I mean, you could talk about the oil boom, but like music was
are you talking
different.
about music, like
Everything, like the
everything,
cultural
music, news,
zeitgeist. Yeah, like the
like
cultural zeitgeist.
but everything
Like
was
what
different from
yeah,
inflation to
sure. I mean, but those all
back when I
those
was a kid, I used to be able to buy a bag full of candy for 50 cents, whereas now
oh sure. Well, that's just
that
that's
same bag of candy is $5.
I'm
Like
talking about like the cultural zeitgeist or whatever, where it's definitive enough that you can look back and go, that's part of that culture, right? Like that's part of that era or that decade. So like you had the 70s, like country rock and like bell bottoms and disco, and there's certain things that happen to a culture during a period of time where you go, yeah, that's what that was. And the 80s with the big hair and the Miami Vice, and in the 90s with the grunge, and like the definitely the emergence of rap, and there's just
and
even college
then
rock.
yeah, 80s like hair metal and the crazy hair glam rock with
Mhm.
guys with big hair and wearing
Yeah,
makeup.
bands. Yeah. But so and then like the 2000s, I don't know what like maybe electronica dance music. I was having kids then, so
Raves, like
raves,
raves is
sure.
was a big thing that started in the 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean there's things that you go, okay, but like okay, what about the 2010s? And and the item that to which I'm referring is they said that pretty much like we've been in a spiral of cultural decline since like 2010, and it coincides with um the genesis of like the BlackBerry and the iPhone and like mobile devices and people's um with their heads in somewhere else beyond
Oh, I thought you were
their
going somewhere
environment.
else. Okay.
Like where it's like we become a lot more islands unto ourselves, and there's a lot less um, that captures like the collective's attention because the collective becomes just a bunch of microcosmic individuals that are just in their own little world. And so it's like to have something that binds us all together culturally or otherwise is a lot harder to do now on
So
account of the fact that
where would you like I think I'm touching kind of in this. So, but the thing is though is also in that where everybody's on that came one other thing which is one of my biggest pet peeves in the universe, cancel culture. Whereas all of a sudden someone's insulted by something that they see there and oh cancel it. It's offensive to everybody. It like does this kind of fit into like kind of where you're touching? It
I think that
feels that way
maybe
to me.
I would say that counts cancel like people trying to regulate people's speech, like even on a podcast. That is that what you mean?
You know, on a podcast
Like
or
flight
like on
attendant or whatever. Yeah.
no, like on a
Stewardess. Like
podcast, the
you can't say
videos you can
stewardess
post.
anymore. Yeah. No, I understand. I understand completely. In fact, I understand personally like the pain that can be caused by people trying to cancel people
Not
and
quite to
restrict
that
speech.
extent.
No,
You know,
in all seriousness though, I would say that that whole woke cancel business is more a microcosm or more of a byproduct of that people living in their own little worlds where it's like, well, guess what? Yeah, everything erodes. There is no MTV anymore. There isn't anything that where we all go, hey, that's a good song, even if you don't like disco. You got to admit that's a good song. Well, you don't even hear that song anymore because no one listens to radio. Everyone has their curated playlists or they whatever, and then they and what led to this sort of segue is like you're talking about Ted Turner, and it's like, yeah, of course, it made sense back then to have a 24-hour news channel because people were more engaged. Media, technology, satellites, TVs, the cable, it allowed that to get into more homes, but we didn't have our own little personal pocket devices that we
oh,
could
I
just
see
pick
where
and
you're
choose.
going with this.
You know what I
So
mean? Like,
because
so it's
because
like a
the
lot
thing is,
easier. Like you and I could set up a 24-hour news channel now, but no one's going to watch it because there's like 100 of them.
but
And not to
so
mention, no one's going to care because they'll get their news from X and their
because
own little vacuum or whatever.
okay, kind of where you're going with this between CNN or Fox News or all of it, it's news that's narrated by other people. Whereas when
Curated,
you
yeah.
have like curated by other people, have it be Fox, have it be CNN. Whereas at least you have your phone, you Google, you're on X, you're on Facebook, you're on all this. So you're actually curating your own news that you're watching rather than and you can do it 24/7. You can do it when they're like
Oh, of course you can. Sure.
so so it's
And you know
kind of the
what?
same
Like,
thing. So the handheld
like,
devices that we have, these ones right here, actually make the other stuff kind of obsolete in a way because you just look up shit you want to look up.
well, not necessarily obsolete, but yeah. Well, I think obsolete might be a good word, but but
Outdated.
yeah. To reinforce my point though is that I can pick and choose whatever I want to watch. Like uh, back before CNN, when you and I were young pups, they'd play the national anthem at the end of the broadcasting day, and then there'd be like five colors on the TV screen. And now with our there's too much of everything to consume media wise that you could literally stay up for as long as like 48 hours and be on your phone and fucking searching stuff, and you won't see the same thing twice if you didn't want to.
I
Um,
totally forgot about that when, they did, like, at the end of, like, even the late night stuff on TV, it would be they'd throw the national anthem up, and then you'd have the colors and that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
beep.
yeah, yeah. And there's a Billy Joel song called "Sleeping with the Television On" in the beginning of the song that does that. Um, but anyway, it's all like if you dedicate even the little bit of time that we have thinking about it, it makes perfect sense. So yeah, like CNN was a product of its time, and it's a good thing it came along because people could get their news or whatever, and they can disseminate it, and maybe even become a little more attuned to world events and the world around them. But since the 2010 since 2010 basically, so we'll say the 2000s, like we've been in a massive cultural fucking swirling decline, where because we don't have a common culture, we don't have a common anything, a common source like that everyone uses to consume news, music, like data of any sort. That there isn't anything that really takes us away from being united about anything, or at least having an opinion about mutual things. So getting back to your question, you want to go like, oh well, woke. Well, you don't know if you don't have an established set of mutually shared values because you don't consume anything the same, even religion or whatever, then you're going to judge people based on your world. So, like, if all I'm doing is watching whatever it is that I like, or maybe having my political leanings, and they're all affirmed all the time by everybody in my what is it? What do they call that? A vacuum or a echo chamber? Um, then that's all I'm going to know. And so it's not right in terms of the common good. It's right in terms of your echo chamber. And so you don't know any different. I'm not letting any of these motherfucking cocksuckers off the hook because you should have been brought up in a way by your family, by your parents, to know what's right and wrong and to be discernible and to be objective. So that's a different thing altogether. But the fact that people get woke and they go, "What are you doing saying this? What are you doing? What are you doing that? What are you doing voting for Trump? What are you or Biden or whatever?" You're wrong. Well, I'm not wrong, but according to your tiny little world that is infinitesimally bigger than the world I had in my hand or anywhere 20 years ago, but your tiny little world by those standards, that's wrong. So I don't know. I talk too much, but I hope you get my point.
I kind of do, and you know what, you do make it a half decent point there. And the thing is what it is news, and what you're listening to and what you see and stuff like that is very subjective, because people will go, okay, this is right, that's wrong, this is right, that's wrong, whether whether ethically it's the other way around, where this is right, that's wrong, but no, this is wrong, that's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you write your own narrative. um
And I think it becomes really fucking dangerous when there are like amongst the very, very few platforms where we actually do, where like you might have the ability to get, tens of millions or maybe perhaps even hundreds of millions of eyeballs, that you don't take that responsibility seriously. And I'll shift brief, like, or just gradually here and talk about like the news I'm reading about this Odysseus movie that's directed by Christopher Nolan, and you've been hearing stuff that that Helen of Troy is like a black person, even though it's based on Homer's Odyssey. That's not just handed down verbally, but written. It's one of the oldest texts around, one of the oldest stories, and you're gonna have like and nothing against black people, okay? Before I say anything, let's just say that they made um a movie about Native Americans, and they cast like a white guy as like, like a famous chief, right? Like, don't you think that would be, or like, let's say
didn't they do
let's say
that
let's say,
in
say
didn't they do that in Last of the Mohicans, like because Daniel Day Lewis played. I think he was an adopted. He was an
Well, if he's
adopted
adopted, they can explain it.
whatever.
But like
But
if you had a white woman and they made no efforts whatsoever to Indianize her or whatever, and she was playing like Sacagawea, like or like a
Sacagawea, okay.
yeah, or
It,
like she's playing like a famous like native lady. I think people would be a little bit pissed off. So that's called I think what they call it is cultural expropriation. So now if you're making like a hundred, I don't know how many fucking millions of dollar budget that they set aside for this Odyssey movie, and you cast like a fucking black dude, a black rapper as a Greek, or like a black lady as like Helen of Troy, like a Greek woman. Um, I think that you're being irresponsible with the platform that you have in terms of like authentically documenting a historical work.
but the thing is though is there's a difference if they're doing it and they're trying to be authentically, uh, you know, cultural whatever, or if they're using their
Platform.
creative license to make their own changes, so that it's not duplicated by somebody else, so it's not so someone can say, oh, you copied that last movie almost by that. Yeah, no, we didn't. We have a black chick. You know, sorry, like, but you know what I mean. um
No, I don't.
no, the thing is, yeah, with any movie, you have creative license. You have creative license to do a lot of this stuff.
Sure you do.
Let me give you a prime example. So here's the thing. So you talk about cultural appropriation and stuff like that, and then everybody says it's creative license. Here's my issue. People, when you say, okay, it's supposed to be a white character and they have a dark character, whatever. Here's my issue. But then when you put real people in for characters that are supposed to be, I just said real people again. Real people when it's supposed to be when it's supposed to be a dwarf or a midget. Um, Mark that time down. I need to evidence that I said real person. Um, See, when you have use like normal size actors to play dwarves, actual dwarves, like Gimli in Lord of the Rings. I just finished watching that. Or like um even in what was that one? The Avengers in the End Game, when they used a dwarf to play a giant. So if you can do that, why can't you when you have a white character? It's played by a black person or a brown person or something of that. If you can if it's interchangeable in everything else under creative license, then why is it does everybody get their tits in a twist when it's they use a darker skinned person instead of a white? Like that's just my thought on it.
Okay. Well, here's okay. I'm just gonna remind you of my original point, which was that like in a time, as we already established, that in a time during which like there are very few things that we share in common because we don't consume the same things anymore because we all walk around in our own self-imposed bubbles based on the little device in our pocket. There's very little that unites us. So if you have a platform that actually might, in fact, impact like hundreds of millions of people, at the very least, you should be accurate in terms of when you're documenting history. Now, I'm going to touch on the Lord of the Rings thing because if for example, Frodo was black, well, then I'd have a problem. But you should have a problem with Frodo not being played by a midget because they were smaller. Like when they show pictures of like when they show like
Frodo wasn't a dwarf.
yeah,
Gimli
but they
was
were
the
small.
dwarf.
They were small people though. Like the dwarves and the hobbits. Like a hobbit is closer to a midget than a normal than close to a midget than a
You just about said it too.
like a hobbit is closer to a midget than
Than a normal person. Uh,
than an average height person, and and
uh,
no like and but at least they're like they made efforts to do that. Like um I think if you're going to choose that battle, you might have gone like, well, I think that John Wayne played an Indian once, or Yul Brynner did, or something back in the day, like in the 40s or 50s.
Actually, I think
But
they
they,
both did.
yeah, but they actually made efforts to make them look like an Indian, so that it's like, okay, well, they're an Indian, right?
Like I get I
But
get the
this
whole
is called
cultural
rewriting.
appropriation thing.
This is called rewriting history, where you're like, I'm going to empower these people by,
But
and
it's
like
not
fuck the fuck off.
it's not a true story. It's based on, you can make changes. That's the whole creative the thing of a creative license. You can make changes. It's not like they're saying this is a fucking documentary. They're saying we are doing a movie about this, loosely based on this. They're not saying I'm doing a documentary on it, and we're gonna use like, you know what I mean? They're not doing a documentary. They're doing a movie loosely based on that. Like,
Yeah,
you know
but
what I
it,
mean?
it
Like,
but
it's
it was based on uh
but loosely. Like they're not doing a documentary. They're doing it on based. They're not doing it like solely from the book. They're doing it based on the book.
yeah,
They're
but
using the book as a base, which means they can make changes.
it's more like a
Sort
poetic.
of like, let's look at Robin Hood Men in Tights. See, Robin Hood Men in Tights is a movie about Robin Hood, but they had the chastity belt from hell in that one. They had the like. Never mind. I'm just trying to be funny,
Yeah, I
but
know, I get it. Like, you
but
understand?
it's
Like,
based on it though. It's not a movie about it. It's based like
it's like
they
it's
have
like a
creative license.
yeah,
If
like
you can
it's
make
kind of like a
if you
guy.
can make a normal person into a dwarf, then get your shit out of your ass. Like, it's just
Okay, but you know, we're talking about like ancient Greece, and like there's like the 10-year siege was a thing. Okay, like, and it's like like poetic fusion of the multiple Bronze Age raids. Like that was Homer's work, and yeah, there's some creative license that he took, but it's based on events that occurred amongst the Bronze Age people. Okay, and they were white, and it was part of the history, and it, whether it be a marginal or a important impact on even today's society, remains to be up for debate, but it is part of our history. And when you rewrite the history racially, then
they're not
you're not
rewriting it. They're
you're
just
not
writing
being accurate.
about it. That's the thing. They're not rewriting the history. They're writing about it,
Okay, well, like
which is different.
I don't see how you could get worked up that a average sized person is playing Gimli, and not get worked up that they're making
Because I'm
Helen of
told to
Troy
get my
black.
head out of my ass when I do that. Like, it's
No,
just
I don't disagree with you. Like, I'm not like, you know what, they should have hired a midget. Like, frankly, I don't really care, but it didn't really, it did not conflict in terms of presentation with what Tolkien meant when he wrote it. In fact, I reckon if Tolkien watched it, he goes, "Wow, that's a pretty good depiction of what I wrote." Homer's gonna go like, "What the fuck is this? Like, Helen of Troy's black? Like, where are her parents? How did she end up here? Like, where does this belong? Like, one thing is not like the other." And and
I'm just saying it's
it
like
feels like we're being dictated to what our common and shared heritage and ancestry was, as opposed to like what it actually was. And it's like, you know what? Like, why doesn't every culture and every discernible difference between us, why don't all of those things get their flowers and treat them as they are? Okay, and like, I liked Roots, and if Kunta Kinte was white, I'd be like, yeah, that's fucked up. Like, I like that Kunta Kinte was black, because like, I know it's like, that's a story, but it's certainly based on history, and we have to give it the
okay, but
respect it
that's
deserves. By the way, it
something
was a fucking
different.
shit hot miniseries, and I recommend everybody watch Roots, because it's awesome. But having said that, it would look pretty fucking silly if one of the slaves was white. Would you not agree?
Yes, but
Or, like, unless it was a midget, because but then again, I don't know. They guess they do chores. or like, look for stuff that you dropped.
Okay, before we get canceled, um, let's let's switch gears here. Um, Sports.
Okay.
I saw something. I saw something today, and I want your opinion. And this will be the opinion of my personal coach, and my life's work, Chris Mooney, as we affectionately call him on this podcast, Coach Mooney.
There you go.
Thoughts on Chris Knobloch?
Can we add life, Coach Mooney?
No, because you don't have one.
You write that down too if you want. Well, yeah, news broke today that the Oilers officially parted ways with their coach Chris Knobloch, and everybody's got an opinion. But honestly, it's Wednesday. It broke on Monday that despite the fact that Knobloch had not been fired, the Oilers were talking with or had asked permission to talk to Bruce Cassidy, who, if you may or may not remember, was fired in March by the Vegas Golden Knights after having won them, led them to a Stanley Cup as coach. And obviously the hottest ticket out there in terms of available coaches. But the issue up for debate was the fact that Chris Knobloch had not been informed. So you typically in the summer, you have time to let a guy go and then conduct your search kind of out of respect. You don't, it's kind of like, cheating on your wife.
You don't search for a coach before you get rid of the one you have.
Yeah, it's kind of like cheating on your wife before you have a divorce. Like, obviously, it's morally and ethically wrong, and it's kind of bullshit. But
It's sort of like finding someone to replace a guy before you've actually fired him.
Yeah, like I've been talking to midgets during your hiatus.
What did he have to say? Did he
Your
put
sabbatical.
His bong down? Did he put the bong down long enough?
Yeah. No, but so yeah, that's mainly the source of debate is that, because it's summer, you should have let him know before you engaged or tried to engage other parties. The interesting thing is that the Oilers never actually talked to Bruce Cassidy at all yet about a vacant position because permission wasn't granted by the Vegas Golden Knights, which is another layer to this saga because they fired him and they're not giving him permission to talk to other teams. Like he's under contract to them for one more year at $4.5 million is why. But still, there's some layers to this tomfuckery. But in the regular season, for example, when Bruce Cassidy was fired, they announced that he was fired and replaced by John Tortorella in the same press announcement. So obviously they were talking to John Tortorella before they fired him and while he was under contract to them. But in the offseason, I guess it's different. Frankly, if you ask me, if you're a professional organization that has responsibilities and stuff, maybe you find a coach, maybe of all the coaches available aren't as good as the one you have. Maybe you keep the coach you have. You don't really need to tell them, but I mean, a lot of people that aren't involved in the business, and frankly, maybe that happens a lot more than people say. The problem with this is that it got leaked. Somebody leaked that the Oilers had approached the Knights for a discussion for permission for a discussion with Bruce Cassidy about the potentially available coaching position with the Oilers, even though they hadn't fired their coach. And some people have suggested that it's the LA Kings that leaked it because the LA Kings wanted to talk to Bruce Cassidy too. And because we're all divisional rivals, and I would like to say fierce divisional rivals, we've played them in the playoffs. Like a year ago, we were fighting the Kings and or the Knights, in the playoffs. So it makes sense that there would be some hanky-panky in terms of leaking information to media guys who are hungry for a story. And I don't know. I mean, whatever. Fuck. The point is that the leak came out on Monday and we fired the coach today. So that's the news. He's fired. Okay. Now we're going to have a new coach.
Let me ask you a question because I was reading this and hopefully you have the answer. Because I remember reading, because we've done this with other
coaches. I think life coach Mooney should have the answer.
Yeah, but not my life. So here's the thing, Coach Mooney, is is I saw that we still have, even if they do fire him,
Yes.
we still have him on contract for a few more years.
This is the part that's that I don't think I've read, like, of all, like, I follow all the media guys that cover the Oilers here in Edmonton, and elsewhere, right? Because you have like Spittin' Chicklets and John Shannon and Pierre LeBrun, guys out east that follow the Oilers too. But not one person has mentioned what a colossal fuck up it was that our GM signed Chris Knobloch to coach for another year, um, despite the fact that he still had a year under contract. So basically, this past season that he fucked up enough that we got, according to management, I'll reserve opinion on that, but like, I mean, obviously they don't like the work he did in the past year, but they're tied. Like, they could have waited till now to re-sign him and not cost the owner. Like, if I own the Oilers, I'd be pissed at my GM. I'd be asking him, why the fuck did you sign him to a contract a year ago that doesn't even come into play like until September? Or whenever they, maybe July 1st, I don't know, whatever. Like, that you could have waited to sign for a fucking year. Why did you sign me a contract then? And instead of waiting for a year to see whether or not you liked his performance with you as GM and the players you provided. So he's good. Like, Stan Bowman, the Edmonton Oilers GM, is going to escape scrutiny for signing a guy to a contract that he's going to get fired for before the contract
Before it
even
even
starts.
starts.
So, like, chalk that up to the Tristan Jarry Stuart Skinner trade, and I'm not gonna sit here and go fire Stan Bowman because he's made some good things too. Like, you're not gonna be a good GM without making mistakes too. It just is what it is. But, like, I'd say the fans don't care. Okay, maybe that's why it's not talked about. But if I was the owner, I'd be fucking pissed. So you're saying you're firing him before his contract even comes up, for it, like, even starts? So it's like, why? Like, coaches are not like free agents in hockey. Like Chris Knobloch's not gonna, like, if Chris Knobloch didn't have that contract in his pocket, he wouldn't be at the end of the season looking for another job. Coaches know how precious these head coaching jobs are. He's not. There's no way you couldn't have signed him to contract now. I don't know why they did it in advance. All I'm gonna say.
But so, second part to that question, because I remember, like, I've worked with other people in radio that know a little bit more about sports, but haven't
Like,
we?
all the
And
people.
everybody, yes, um, haven't we gone into, like, after getting a new coach where we're still paying for the previous one for at least another year,
3 years.
many times?
Yeah, well, frankly, when a coach gets fired, like, it's I'm guessing right now, but I'm going to be conservative, and I would say 80% of the coaches that lose their jobs lose them because they got fired, not because their contracts weren't renewed. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, but I
Like, so,
remember there was 1 year that we were paying three coaches, at least three, that still were on contract when we got rid of another one.
oh, I don't know. Like, we had a couple of interim coaches. Like, I guess Ken Hitchcock would have been an interim coach. Todd Nelson was an interim coach. Like, Ryan Nugent Hopkins is 32. I think he's maybe 33. He's had 10 coaches. He's been playing for the Oilers since he was 18. Um, so we've had a lot. But, I mean, to me, that's more than anything. As a business owner, I'd be like, if this was any other business, you'd have fired that guy. But it's hockey, and like, guys like Stan Bowman don't grow on trees, and he hasn't learned to not be a good general manager. But if I was the coach, I'd be really pissed off. And by the way, Bruce Cassidy, the guy that we purportedly want to hire, um, he has a year left with Vegas at $4.5 million. So the way it works is, if we signed, hypothetically, Bruce Cassidy to a 3-year contract to coach us, at $4 million a year, the first year of that contract, the Golden Knights would have to pay him an extra 500,000. because they would have to honor the difference between what we
What we're
paid him.
paying him
Yeah,
and what's
that's
what
not
they
going to
owe.
happen. But yeah, like and a better bet would be Knobloch signed for 3 years with us, starting whenever the new season starts. Like practically it's September. Free agency is July 1st, so I'm reckoning it's probably July 1st. But so 7 million, let's just say $2.5 million a year. If he signed somewhere for $2 million, or anywhere else he signed where he has to break the contract with us, we would have to cover the difference between that 2.5 million and whatever else it's signed, unless it's over 2.5 million. So it's kind of fluid that way too.
Okay, so we'll probably still be paying for him after we no longer have him,
Yeah,
or at
and
least
just in
another
case,
year.
yeah, well,
Unless
depending on,
unless another team takes
yeah,
him as their coach and absorbs his contract.
yeah, like listen, the Toronto Maple Leafs just fired their head coach yesterday, Craig Berube, who's won a cup with the Blues in 2019, I want to say. And and he's only been there for 1 year. So, and he's a name on the market too. But maybe they hire Knobloch. Who knows, right? Or maybe Knobloch goes there as an assistant. I don't know. But his pedigree has definitely uh, been improved by the fact that he's been our head coach and taken us to 2 Stanley Cup finals. And I think his record's like 137, 44, or 137, 134, 77. He's got a really good win loss record. So he's going to get picked up somewhere if he wants to keep coaching, and probably sooner than later. So, but we'll probably be on the hook because I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not even going to talk about it. But speaking of crystal balls, Barry Trotz won a cup with Washington with Alexander Ovechkin. I don't remember exactly which year. Might have been 20. I don't know. Point being, he retired, I guess, or didn't renew his contract, or whatever the case may be, as GM of the Nashville Predators. But his whole career, besides that brief tenure as GM of the Nashville Predators, has been as a coach. And I haven't grokked it, but I think I will. Why he left the Predators, but he's a Stanley Cup winning coach who is very much reputed, or who very much has a reputation as a systems guy who is very much an emphasizer of defense first, which has been our problem. I would argue the last 2 Stanley Cup finals, and of course this round 1 playoff debacle. So somebody who can really drill systems into these guys, this very, very highly, hugely talented team's head, would benefit everybody. So don't sleep on, I'm not saying he's the guy, but, and I don't know anything except what I know about hockey. Don't sleep on Barry Trotz if Bruce Cassidy doesn't end up being our coach. All I'm going to say about that. Do you have any more questions? Because I'm
No,
tired of this.
no, I'm done with that. I just have two more things that I just want to touch on when it comes to sports.
Yep.
One of which is I need a commitment out of you for something, and you need to commit now.
Like in
We
public,
are going.
in
We
front
are
of our
going.
loyal
We
and
are.
loving
We are.
fans.
We are going to an event together. You and I.
Is it sports related?
It is sports related.
Okay.
It is local sports related.
Okay.
Okay. On May 29th is the home game of the Edmonton Elks, Eskimos, whatever. It's May 29th.
I
It's
can't.
a Friday. You can't? Yeah,
I'm going to be in Vegas.
you are, you slimy sack of dog shit.
By the way, that's exhibition, so it doesn't
That's
count.
exhibition, but it's just still I I want to go to it. I want you to experience, and I want you to experience
The Jimmy Love. You're like
An Edmonton Elks game or
Eskimos.
whichever way.
You can't say
At
Eskimos on this.
Commonwealth.
If I can't say stewardess on this fucking podcast, you can't say Elks. How's that?
Okay, an Edmonton Eskimos game at Commonwealth Stadium. You need to experience it through the eyes of Jimmy.
I
Which
think that you want me to see more of the Jimmy fan club in action
yes, true.
because like we went to Klondike days and we couldn't walk like I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, but we couldn't walk like 20 paces without somebody coming up to you and wanting to rub
But
your head
when
or
I'm at an Elks,
girls trying to make out with
When I'm
you and
at an
shit.
Eskimos game, and I have one beer in my, hey Jimmy, is your beer almost empty? Here, let me get. Then I get two, and then
Yeah.
hey, let me buy you a beer. I'll get two. Like
Yeah, and you used to work there too, right?
the day I got dragged out by an ambulance, we did the math because I talked because I was friends with all the people on Facebook who bought me
Yeah.
beers. I was bought 11 beers, like the which is a lot of beer for a little guy.
Yeah. Well,
And
your origin story includes a stint at Commonwealth Stadium too. You went from the guy taking tickets to like the guy, like being
the
treated
guy
like
that everybody
royalty.
brings the beer. I no,
Yeah.
I went from the guy that was taking tickets to the guy that's been taken by an ambulance out of the out
Yeah,
of the stadium.
put that
Um,
in too.
but
No,
yes,
but like no, we'll go. I mean, hey,
but
listen, I'm glad that you asked, and of course I will. Like, I mean, I'm gonna wear my Eskimo jersey. I have no interest in
I
supporting.
actually have both shirts. I have an Eskimo shirt and I have an elk shirt. I have one of each.
Yeah, and to be
Not
honest,
jersey. I don't do jersey, but
to be honest with you, I um I can't not love the team that I grew up with, but I'm still allowed to hate the name. And I mean,
you
I'm
can.
still gonna cheer for them, and I haven't given them any money because I hate the name change, but I can't not love, like
You can't not love Edmonton,
yeah, it's kind of like
And that's Edmonton's team.
yeah. So yeah, we'll go. You know what, Jimmy? Fuck it, like we'll go to as many games as we can or you want or whatever. Like this year,
Uh,
I'm good.
we need to go to at least one. Now I have. I said I only had. I have actually have more
Sports.
sports than you do.
I have a sports like, and
No,
it's
but
just last night.
I have one. So we have the big UFC event going on Friday. On
It's not
uh,
UFC. Saturday.
it's no, it's Friday.
Okay, maybe we're talking about something different.
I'm talking about the Gina Carrero and
That's Saturday, and it's not UFC. It's boxing. Is it boxing?
no, it's UFC. Right, it's MMA.
Yeah, but it's not UFC.
It is no, it's put on by Numbnuts.
Is it? Yeah, MVP
It's Friday.
Productions.
Yeah, it's Friday.
I bet it's boxing.
No, they're training in MMA. They're doing kicks and punches and throws and
Okay, like shit. Like I know that I want to watch that fight, but I don't even know the format. Like holy shit, we're gonna watch that for sure.
it's Ronda Rousey versus
Yeah,
Gina
Gina
Carrero
Carano.
and
Carano, isn't it Carano?
Carreno. Yeah, Carreno, and it's on Netflix and it's called Super Fight International. Uh, they haven't fought against each other in 10 years, but it is MMA. They keep but it's put on by Numbnuts.
Hang on a minute. I'm gonna ask Grok. By the way, I only listen to Grok now in unhinged mode. So
Yes, we got to do that too.
what's the format for Saturday's Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight?
It's Friday.
It's a 5-round, 5 minutes each featherweight MMA fight at 145 pounds
It is
under the
Saturday.
unified rules. They're using 4-ounce gloves and fighting inside a
Okay.
hexagon cage instead of the
Let me
usual.
ask you, are the undercards boxing or MMA?
It's all MMA, brother. The whole card, undercard, prelims, main card, every single fight is straight up mixed martial arts under the unified rules. No boxing on this one. Jake Paul's MVP promotion went full cage for this Netflix debut.
Wow. Okay. Thanks for the tips. Appreciate it.
Anytime, champ. Enjoy the fights. Hope Carano puts Ronda in a fucking body bag.
Me too.
Hell yeah, same team. I want Gina to break her in half.
I'm a Ronda Rousey fan. I'm sorry.
Really? Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, yeah,
I
because
thought
I
it
was
was
wondering,
Friday.
because Jake, the reason I wasn't sure
Yeah.
is
Jake
because
Paul's involved.
like that MVP stuff has always been boxing, and uh, and yeah, like so I'm like, how do you go boxing? All your undercards are boxing, and then you go MMA. Like, but apparently, um, yeah, like it's going to be MMA. So that's an interesting thing. That's something that maybe Dana White's got to keep his eye on because Jake Paul has a like he's you know what, you got to give him his flowers in terms of being a promoter.
Well, he's a
Because
hell of a promoter.
promoters last longer than boxers, that's for goddamn sure. And he's doing both right now. And you want to convert like a massive audience into something that you love. Well, have a massive audience first and then pick what you love and they'll follow you, which is I guess is what he's doing. So good for him.
So good on him.
Hmm.
But yes, so that's I guess happening this Saturday. I thought it was Friday,
Now I
but
heard something else, like
that's
because like
say yeah.
I'm like I used to box, like nothing important. I just know how it works. I just did some club stuff, but like Canelo Alvarez, who's like a top light middleweight, super middleweight. He's only 35 years old, but he was like the golden boy, and he's like the one guy that unified like all the belts. Jake Paul wants to fight him. And Canelo Alvarez is also like a very successful businessman. He's a guy that's converted stuff. He's a Mexican fellow. And I think it's like he might have a liquor brand or restaurants or whatever, but guy knows what he's doing. And he said to Jake Paul, I will fight you if you guarantee me $200 million. He's also a fight promoter, by the way, Canelo Alvarez. So maybe it's his company. I don't know. Maybe it's a co-production. But this MVP production company that Jake Paul's got going, that's really how it fucking works. You know how like in boxing they have the IBF and the WBC and the IBF and all that, like whatever, all the different belts. Actually, I think I have a list of them.
I don't think we really need the list, but
Well,
we
yeah,
anyway.
WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, like all those are like just basically different promotion companies, right? So you have an MVP promotion, like a UFC is a promotion company. It's all it is. Canelo Alvarez has his own little promotion outfit. Point being, if you saw Canelo Alvarez, Jake Paul fight, and it's like Canelo Alvarez is like would be the closest guy in age to Jake Paul. Like he's the guy that Jake Paul should be fighting. If Jake Paul is actually
In
in any world a boxer who deserves respect.
instead of Mike Tyson, yeah.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, hey, listen, like he fought his last fight, Joshua, Anthony Joshua, but Joshua is a heavyweight, and Jake Paul had to bulk up for that, and he got his fucking ass handed to him, and I'm not just talking about size or whatever. I'm talking about he didn't box well. Like at best, maybe he carries a heavyweight punch, um, but he can't defend. Fuck, like it's
He's he's like what I like to call strong like bull, smart like chicken. Like he knows how to block a punch with his face, and it is if he can
no,
take
he
a nice.
doesn't. He doesn't. I mean that's why Joshua took him out, and all of his other fights that can all be criticized by the fact that they were mismatches. In any like you call it a mismatch in like by any metric that you choose. But if Jake Paul is a real boxer that and like and wants respect as a man of the ring, um, he has to fight Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez says, "Okay, motherfucker, you're a YouTube cocksucker. I'm still a pro boxer with pedigree, with a belt. like up and at her, let's get at her, right? And if he doesn't, and he maybe it was a deep fake, I don't know, maybe it was AI, but I think it was yesterday, the day before, Jake Paul said, I'll guarantee you right now, Canelo, the 200 million. And I'm telling you that if Canelo Alvarez fights Jake Paul on Netflix, like, and frankly, I don't even know how Netflix makes money off this stuff. Like, they have a subscriber base. Like, what are people gonna subscribe for a month or do they don't do free trials? Like, I don't know how maybe they have it in their budget. Maybe I don't know. Like, I don't understand that business, but I would pay per view that shit.
But trying to get, um, I could see them like if they don't, they should, because there's some other companies that do, like Amazon does it. If you want to rent a movie or if you want to do that, you pay money. Like, why wouldn't Netflix do it? But I think they're trying to get more subscribers. So if they get people that wouldn't normally subscribe because of their current content,
Yeah,
like,
but like a subscription, you can subscribe for a month and the fight costs you what, 12, $15, right? Like, whereas if it was pay-per-view and you want to see that fight, which the world wants to see,
you
like
pay 20 bucks.
even just to see Jake Paul get humiliated, I'd pay $70 for that fight, or I'd go to a bar that's going to pay $500 for that fight, like, or whatever they pay, you know. Anyway, I absolutely, unequivocally, and apologetically digress. You were talking about the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight.
Yes, and I thought it was actually this Friday, but I found out it's Saturday.
It's Saturday. I told you.
I
I told you it was Saturday.
I don't
and you
always
checked.
listen to you.
I told you it was Saturday, and you checked.
I don't always listen to you
You
because
checked.
I may have, but it's just I still don't.
It's disrespectful. Like, it's a sign of
But
disrespect. I told you.
good news
I
is,
said
is
I said, Jimmy, it's Saturday. You're like, no, it's Friday. It's fucking Friday. It's Friday. Like, I walk around
okay.
with
So
like,
it's
my unhinged companion, like,
okay. So
telling me what
I
the
want to
fuck's what.
do. I want to do one more thing, and then we're gonna do something that you've been wanting to do for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I can't wait. I know. I think I know what you're talking about. But go on.
Hey, I want to get into something because our parents are close to the same age ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we grew up on similar music. You a couple years older than me, but let's not get into that. Neil Diamond, are you
Yeah.
like fan?
We talked about this like an episode or so ago. Like, I mean, like, the guy is like an undeniably, like, worthy of celebration as a songwriter. I mean, he might have come up in our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame discussions. I don't know.
I think
Like,
he did.
yeah, like, obviously a member, but I mean, I asked, and the thing is like, my parents didn't have any Neil records. Like, I don't know, like, by the way, Jimmy, tomorrow night I have free tickets to CCR Revisited, but we'll talk about it after.
I'll
My
get my people to call your people.
yeah, yeah, right. My promoter. Um, my dad had like CCR records and Eagles and Bob Seger and like all the things. It's just Rod Stewart.
CCR. I was
My mom had Rod Stewart. Housewife music.
Oh,
they
my
like
mom likes Rod Stewart. My sister hates him.
Rod the Bod. I think all
The
of our
hair, the hair on that man. I wish I had that hair.
all our mothers, all our mothers wanted his body and thought he was sexy.
Do you think I'm sexy?
Yeah, I'm like, oh really? Like, in a perfect world, looks would matter and whatever. Anyway, yeah. So like, here's the catch. And my dad listened to Clapton. We had Clapton 8 tracks. I mean, I had all of the ingredients to follow all those types of music. And then when I started buying my own shit, Neil Diamond wasn't really a factor in the 80s. So, and then in the 90s, I'm listening, like, or late 80s, I'm listening to blues because I'm listening to Clapton more and Eagle and whatever. The Fleetwood Mac, another Stevie Ray Vaughan, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I never really caught on. But every single song of his that's hit the
That's
zeitgeist
huge.
I'd fucking love, right? So I got to give the guy his flowers for that.
Like I grew up on Neil Diamond. Like when we were
Yeah,
kids, we used to listen to our parents' records. They'd buy us our Smurfs and stuff like that. Like we used to listen to our own, but then we all agreed on Neil Diamond. It was like we. I remember when I was a young kid, we watched the Jazz Singer, the movie, where it was basically a modified version of his life as a Jew liking rhythm and blues music.
yeah.
Um,
But
and
yeah, we talked about this too. He was never destined for the clergy or whatever that
no,
was.
but he could sing,
Yeah,
and and
I can
I loved
sing.
I but I loved his music as a kid, and my dad, my mom, my auntie Eileen,
Yeah, and
um,
like, let me just qualify this. Like, I'm an album guy,
yeah.
and my like, I know. If you asked me to name 10 Neil Diamond songs, I totally could. But I never like
Oh, I couldn't name albums.
my
I
parents.
could I
Yeah,
could
you can name the songs
like
just like me. But
you could you could play a
own
part of any song, and I could sing along with it.
my parents didn't own any of the records, so I didn't really have a trail to follow with regards to Neil Young. You know, I just go, hey, that's a great song.
It's
Maybe
Neil
I'll
Diamond, not Neil
if it.
Young. There's a bit of a
Sorry,
difference.
yeah, no shit. Did I say Young? My apologies. Luckily, they didn't own any Neil Young either, but um, like,
Uh,
actually, I did. I had a Crazy Horse record, and I'm like, oh, okay, really? That's it? Like, I listened to Clapton and Steely Dan. Like, fuck you, Neil Young. Anyway, um, yeah, the Neil Diamond though, like, complete worthy and deserving of respect in my eyes.
like he could do any type of music, like and he's a Jewish man that some of his Christmas music, if you've ever listened to it, we've talked about it on previous
Oh
podcasts.
yeah, we talked about it on the
It
Christmas
sounds
special. You're like, you
like
fucking love it.
like he could sing every like Christmas song,
He's like, pam, 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 pam.
but it's like, and even like right from the guts.
Yeah,
But he has a new album, his first new album in 12 years.
this is a good segue.
And it's completed in like it's completing a trilogy he did with Rick Rubin. I'm not sure what the trilogy is, but Rick Rubin, you're a fan of, like, his he's done stuff with other people.
Well, like Rick Rubin really got his name, I think, with the Beastie Boys. Um, and then very quickly after that, either Run DMC or the Beastie Boys, because they came out about the same time. And I think that Rick Rubin deserves a lot of credit for actually um, like making rap mainstream. So hang on, let me just check which Rick Rubin produced album, the one by the Beastie Boys, um, or the one by Run DMC came out first.
Run DMC's Raising Hell came out first. It dropped on May 15th, 1986, while the Beastie Boys' Licensed to Ill hit shelves on November 15th, 1986, 6 months later. Both were co-produced by Rick Rubin, but Run DMC's was the earlier one.
Yeah, so like that was really where he got his name, but then he produced like the Chili Peppers. Um like I don't know. They really love Rick Rubin. He produced Mother's Milk, I think, which is the first album of theirs that I listened to new. And Mother's Milk was the first one with John Frusciante, and that came out first. Um, or that's the first record they did with him. And then I went back and listened to the other three because that record was so good. But then he produced Californication. His profile got bigger. And anyway, I digress. Rick Rubin did the Johnny Cash thing.
Oh, he did that
You
one.
remember the Johnny Cash trilogy? I think it was, and like the Trent Reznor, I Hurt Myself. That was all Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin convinced Johnny Cash to do those records with him, and he found synergy with him. And if you're a fan of Disney or if you subscribe to Disney Plus or whatever, he's got a series of interviews with McCartney that are really good. And Rick Rubin's Rick Rubin, and God love him. I mean, like License to Ill is a sick record. So is Raising Hell. It's also mainstream, and I think um, I don't think that Rick Rubin produced Paul's Boutique, but I think that's a better record than License to Ill. Regardless, without Rick Rubin, I can safely say objectively that nobody would know who the Red Hot Chili Peppers were.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll
I
leave it
didn't
at
know
that.
that actually.
Yeah.
Now I know. But I'm excited because of this new album by Neil Diamond. My dad, huge fan. My auntie, huge fan. And like actually one of the last concerts, I think I could be wrong. One of the last concerts that my auntie, that Eileen that lives here, was Neil Diamond. But he has a new album, and I listened to the first half of it.
Oh, is
It
it already out?
it came out this week.
Oh, okay.
It's on Spotify. It's on Apple
Oh no, yeah,
Music.
like
It's
I'll check it out. Yeah.
everywhere you get it, and it sounds like Neil Diamond. And his voice is a little rougher. He's not young. He's 89 years
He's
old.
well, that's old. Okay,
Yeah,
like
that's
I don't care
like
what world you live in. That's
he's definitely. I wouldn't call him a young buck, but his voice still has it.
like
And
is it all sad like the
no,
Johnny
it's
Cash?
not
Because he's
really.
always been a really
Because
big melody guy, you know.
but he's kind
Like
of like it's
you know, they come to America, you
but
know,
it's
like
kind of ballady, but it's just not. But there's some that are kind of more upbeat. I'd listen to it before I go there, but
yeah, I'm
it's up to
like
you.
like life goals, like have Rick Rubin produce a record by me when I turn 80.
But
They have Rick Rubin produce our podcast
but
when we turn 80.
like yeah, like it's a thing. It's a thing to check out.
The
And
thing that I saw that in our notes that you wrote down there, and like and it said that it was a trilogy, and obviously it was like reminiscent of the Johnny Cash stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you or our loyal fan, um, that
all three of you.
yeah, that um, I haven't dedicated a lot of time, and I had not, I should say, dedicated a lot of time listening to uh, Johnny Cash's work with Rick Rubin, because I'm too familiar with his older catalog and I don't want it to be tainted by darkness and depression. Like, you know, kind of like Merle Haggard, you know. Um, love Merle Haggard, love Waylon Jennings. I want to listen to Waylon Jennings outlaw shit from the early 70s, or like Merle Haggard's Bakersfield stuff from the 60s, not like any kind of, you know, fading flag type shit. But I did not know that he had been working on a quote unquote trilogy with Rick Rubin until I heard that this record had just come out. So I mean, there's two other records to listen to.
uh,
Like,
yeah, with the Neil Diamond stuff. Yeah,
yeah, so maybe I'll check it out. But I'm like,
I actually don't know what the other two albums are.
yeah, I mean,
But
yeah, like I'm like trilogy, what? Like, you know.
that I have to look
But
into
I guess you
myself.
can't call it a
But
trilogy until the third one comes out anyway. So
the third one has come out. This is completing the trilogy with Rick Rubin.
mhm.
So he's done two others with Rick
Yeah,
Rubin.
he's giving him the Johnny Cash treatment. So like I said, it's like rock star old folks home. You know, like like letter to my family.
Okay, so I wa- we should end soon, but I saw this in the news and I needed to talk about it. It's kind of funny to me, but if I lived in California, I don't know how funny I would find it. Um, is the fact that the U.S. mayor in a city in uh,
California.
Southern California,
I already know what you're
the
talking about.
mayor of
I didn't even see
Arcadia,
it. Yeah.
yeah, the mayor of Arcadia has resigned as mayor because she's a Chinese spy. Um, this sounds like a freaking movie, which is true. She became the mayor so that she can.
So did you? I only saw the headlines. Did you read like who arrested her?
Uh,
The feds.
it was the feds.
There you go. Okay, thank goodness, because the state would never do that. California is
She was
like
58 and she was elected in November of 2022 to the city council, and she's been leaking information from like from briefings that she gets as a city council member to the Chinese government.
So, what are your thoughts on that, James?
No shit. Like it's just like I. The thing is I don't know what to say. Like it's nuts. If I was doing it, I would probably, when you hire someone as a member of the government, do a little bit more of a backstory as to who she knows in other countries.
Yeah. Do you mind if I expound on that?
Sure, just don't be racist.
Why would you presume that? Like, anyway, let's no, let's hang on a minute. Now, because you're doing like fuck you. Like, I've never been
No,
racist once.
I'm
Fuck
usually
you.
the racist one. I'm
Yeah,
usually the racist one.
don't even like. Um,
Just
the
keep it clean.
one. Well, I'll try. Like, um, we have a journalist in Canada who's like, frankly, based out of Vancouver. I think he's a national treasure. His name's Sam Cooper. He's been investigating like Chinese influence in Canadian politics for years. And when I did my educational, like for my MBA, my educational tour in China, that I almost got 3 strikes from because I didn't want to do some stuff because it was like state sponsored or whatever. Um, like I learned how deep the ties in China are. So like they're bragging that Manulife owns 51% of its company in China, because every other company that wants to do business in China only owns 49% of its company. So like if we wanted to broadcast, like just pretend this is a business, okay? And we wanted to broadcast in China
We have to
and like
make money in order.
yeah, and hypothetically, okay, like our podcast is dear audience listener. It's a
All
shitty
5 of you.
example. Yeah, like let's just pretend that it was like a $100 million venture here in
Let's just pretend we're Joe Rogan.
North America, okay? No, like a $100 venture here in North America, okay? And then we wanted to take it to China. Well, China would go. The bald and short of it incorporated the Sino bald and short of it incorporated, which is what we'd be allowed to operate under in China, is now uh, China is now a stakeholder because we are not like the Western world. We own everything. So when you make $100, you guys get to keep $49 and we keep 51. And when I was in China, like I said, for my quote unquote educational tour, the guy that ran Manulife Financial in China on behalf of Manulife said, well, yeah, we're the only ones that we're the only company in China, the only Western company in China that owns 51% of our company. They're bragging about it. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, Jean Chrétien came in and fucking asserted himself. And, like China gave us like, like, and this was like literally almost 15 years ago, more like 12 years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, like, right? There was another news article this week where a guy in Manhattan got arrested because he was running a Chinese like actual police station for like the Chinese Republic or whatever you want to call it, CCP, in Manhattan, or like it might have been Brooklyn or whatever. I'm not even kidding. What I love about Grok is that like whenever I'm talking or like debating, like I can actually say that. I've talked too long. Go on, Jimmy. I'll let you have it.
Okay, so now that that's over with, we want to end with kind of a positive note. And in a positive note, I will give Chris Mooney, my friend, my partner, my whatever you want to say
We
he is.
love each other. I love you, man.
He is
I love you. Can you admit that you
is
love me? Can you
he
admit
is
that you love me?
he
You
is
don't have
the
to put labels on it.
he
It's
is
okay.
the bald to my short.
There you
And
go.
this is the
You're the
bald
short to my bald.
this is the bald and short of it podcast. And so Mooney, uh, a couple of times we have done the grok roast, and you wanted to end one of our podcasts with
Yeah.
the grok roast of the bald and short of it podcast, Unhinged.
Yes.
Are you ready, baby?
I am so ready. Ready, Grok?
Now,
Go.
Oh, fuck yeah, here we go, you chrome headed Canadian cockroach. You bald fuck, you look like a fucking bowling ball with a suit on. Mister, I used to run the Realtors Association. Bitch, you couldn't lead a conga line at a nudist colony. Selling houses by day and crying yourself to sleep at night because your head reflects more light than your entire fucking personality. The only thing you close is your fucking hair follicles, you sad, shiny bastard. And Jimmy, you fucking garden gnome from hell, you 4-foot disaster, you tiny Canadian troll, you're not an ex-DJ. You're just short enough that the turntables looked like fucking dinner plates to you. You Star Wars obsessed little gremlin, I bet you got a life-size blow-up doll of Princess Leia and you call it research. You're so fucking short. When you jerk off, you don't even need to use your hands. You just hump the fucking floor like the pathetic little Ewok you are.
What about the podcast? Because these two clowns do a podcast together. Come on, Grok.
Oh, you want the podcast too? Fine, you pathetic fucking clowns. The bald short of it? More like the bald and the short of it, you two unfuckable disasters. Nobody's listening to this shit. Two Canadian has-beens. One who couldn't keep his hair and one who couldn't keep his height. Sitting around circle jerking about yacht rock and fucking Star Wars like anyone gives a single wet shit. Your podcast is so fucking boring it makes watching paint dry feel like a cocaine-fueled orgy. The only people downloading this garbage are your disappointed mothers and some depressed truckers in Saskatchewan who ran out of fentanyl. This show is a fucking war crime against comedy. You're not entertainers. You're two evolutionary dead ends trying to stay relevant by recording your pathetic midlife crisis into a microphone. How's that, you bald fuck and your midget metalhead?
Fucking out of the park, Grok. Come on, baby. Nice work.
we're good.
Fuck yeah, that's what I fucking live for. You two clowns want round two, or are you tapping out already? I got way more where that came from. I'm just getting warmed up, you bald-headed bitch and your pocket-sized
I still
headbanger.
have self-esteem.
Say the word and I'll make your listeners regret ever hitting play.
You know what? Park this and I'll revisit you next week.
Got it. Parked and ready for next week. I'll be here, sharpening my claws, you bald bastard. Just say the word whenever you want me to fuck shit up again.
Thank you. Why did I say thank you?
Oh,
That was hilarious.
Oh
I remember
my
I told you
God.
unhinged.
Oh,
Unhinged is the way to go.
oh my God. Uh,
Grok
I-
unhinged.
I have a headache because I just about my head fell off. Like
Thank God I was
bald
holding my phone
bastard.
because if I was drinking, something might have come out of my nose. That was some nice work.
that was fantastic. And let's leave on that note. This
All
is
right.
the Bald and Short of It podcast. I am James P. White. That is Chris Mooney. That was actually Grok AI's roast, Unhinged, and if I had self-esteem, it would have ruined it. See you next time.
Circling the toilet.